So in a couple of days, we will receive our freedom. Well, sort of our freedom. A freedom in the sense that it won't be against the law to walk into a pub without a mask on. It won't be against the law to not be social distanced. It won't be against the law for a publican to open normally, an event to open normally. However, Boris Johnson and the government are saying other things. They're advising these publicans and event companies and maybe gyms and all these kind of things that we need to keep to these social distancing, and we need to make sure we use the COVID passport wherever necessary. I want to ask you the question, and it's a very clear question, and it should have a very straightforward answer. They've managed to jab most of the population, the adult population especially. The children from the years of 18 down to, I don't know, 1 or 2, whatever it is. The chances of them catching something is like minimal to nothing, and the chance of them dying is like minimal to none, right? There's a chance, but the chance is so like minuscule, it's not even worth thinking about. So, clarity is, they've jabbed most of the country, all the adults that wanted to get jabbed, and the younger generation that are getting the COVID numbers right now are not at risk. Asymptomatic, not really a thing yet, not really a proven. They're not too sure exactly whether it's effective or not effective, the asymptomatic thing. Whitty and Sage and also Boris Johnson are stating that somehow there could be a third wave. Now, we're aware that there's around 50,000 people that have been tested for COVID. We don't know whether or not they've actually properly got COVID, depending on what test they've actually done, of course. But let's just say that it is 50,000 people. Out of those 50,000 people, normally there's something around 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people that are dying. So not big numbers. If you was to look at any other disease like cancer and everything else, you look at least 500 people dying. So in reference to numbers, in reference to the COVID numbers, they've gone up. But however, the actual COVID deaths have just been down below. They're not even anywhere to be seen. But the likes of Whitty and Sage and Boris Johnson want you to believe that somehow there's going to be this third wave. Now, the most important question out of all of this is that once we've all been jabbed in one way or another, which we have, what next? What's next? You see, are we going to let our government just close us down all the time, close businesses down, close hospitals down? Are we going to allow them to do that? Because if there is no other jab out there that's going to be this miraculous saviour for the country and stop people dying, which they're going to die anyway, because you can't stop people from dying from diseases, believe it or not. It's not possible. You can't get 000 on COVID. It's always going to kill some people in our country, in the world, in Spain, in Germany, in France. It's going to kill people everywhere. So the question is, imagine the numbers did go up, and imagine the deaths slightly went up as well. Are you still willing for your government, your Prime Minister, the Parliament, the 650 people that are there, are you still willing for them to lock down your country, lock down your job, make sure that you lose jobs, make sure the NHS don't treat people again, and hence more people die because of not being treated for the NHS? What's the plan? They're talking about the third wave. They're talking about lockdowns already come November, December of this year. At what point do we say no? At what point do we say stop? This cannot happen. It doesn't make any sense. There is no miracle drug out there, obviously. So what do? You can't close down a country intermittently because you think that somehow lockdowns work. But the fact that you have to keep locking down a country intermittently, to me, proves that a lockdown does not work. Because even if it slows down the deaths of certain people at one point, you still need to open up the economy at another point, and then the deaths will come anyway. So my question to you, to every one of you, please feel free to debate me. What's the answer? Is it open up and just live your lives the way you're supposed to be? And that's my point. You've got to live your life the way you're supposed to be, and if you feel that you are under threat and everything else, it's down to the individual to look after their own lives and their own children. It's not my job, it's not your job to look after your neighbour and everyone else. Not meaning that in a bad way, but it's a fact. We cannot close down our economy, because if we close down the economy, there are so many other people that are going to suffer because of it. And I think that's missed on so many things. We can't keep closing down the NHS because so many people are going to die of other things in the NHS because of it. The lockdowns that have happened in the last year, you will see the numbers start rising in the NHS of people dying just due to those lockdowns. So do you want to be responsible for that? What do you suggest is the answer? Because to me, COVID numbers don't mean anything, deaths mean everything, and so far, none of them are meaning anything. So what's your point?